Good morning. Good afternoon, rather. Welcome to our rescheduled January 9th, 2025 Board of Public Works and Safety meeting. At this time, we'll have the calling of the roll.
I'm so sorry. I didn't bring all my paperwork. So. Carl Eaglin.
Here.
And Dave Carlisle.
Here.
Mayor Courtney is absent.
Approval of the minutes
Yeah,
from last meeting.
I reviewed the minutes and I make a motion we approve the minutes as printed.
I'll second Carl's motion. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved as submitted. The claims, we have a set of general claims and payroll claims. And I've had an opportunity to review the claims. And I'll make a motion that the claims be approved as submitted.
I'll second David's motion.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Claims are approved as submitted. Adjustments. Brian, we have an adjustment today.
For 203 Montclair Mackay. She had a leak underneath her house and she had RJ Plumbing come in and fix it. She's here in case you have any questions.
Must have been pretty deep. Had to go in and pump it out.
Yes.
Did all that? Yeah, quite a mess, it sounds like.
So, repairs were made okay, satisfactorily, and everything's up and going now, so. Okay, great.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the claims for 203 Montclair
In the amount of,
in the amount of $1,282.91.
and I'll second Carl's motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank-
Thank you.
Just to be clear, I think Carl said claim, but it was really an adjustment.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
I stand correct.
Next item is SRF disbursement request, L9. Brian?
Yes, sir. We've got one invoice dated 9/30/2024 from Commonwealth Engineers, request L9. The invoice 61816 in the amount of $145.37. The amount of the SRF disbursement number L9 will be for $145 even.
Pretty small claim, really.
Yes,
Compared to some
yes.
that we've had in the
Yeah,
past.
we're trying to wrap up most of this stuff, and hopefully we'll be finishing up. A's finished, C's been finished. Actually, we had our 11-month preliminary meeting inspection for the warranty period ending in a month from yesterday with Division C, and then A, theirs just started here in the past month. And then we'll have a year warranty. B is still ongoing because of the East Million Gallon tank, and the weather is not helping.
Yeah, no. Well, that's kind of what it didn't help anyway. So you're pretty happy with the progress we're making and
Oh, yeah, I was really pleased with Division C, and because we had a few warranty items, they get here quick and fix it, and we do have a leak down on Craven Street, but it's frozen. There's nothing we can do right now, but,
it's not leaking right now, is it?
well, it probably is, just underneath.
Outside outline, right?
But
Till it freezes
that's-
over.
Yeah.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the SRF disbursement L9 for $145.
I'll second Carl's motion. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks.
Thank you, Brian. Next item on the agenda is the contract for legal services with Joe Jenner.
Put one in my packet, but, essentially it's the same contract, but we changed, one aspect of it. Instead of billing, for certain things on a quarterly basis and keeping track of that time, we just tried to kind of monetize it out and just do a straight monthly payment, for everything with exception of litigation services. And that would be billed on what would be a reduced hourly rate. But that's essentially what it is. Other than that, it is the same as it's, no, this is not the right one. Let me see what you got there. Yep, this is the right one. Yeah. Yeah, so, but other than that, it's the same type of thing as previously.
And you're still going to be at the same meetings and all that as before.
Yep, yeah, we've indicated that I'll either be there in person or appear by Zoom or phone if I can't be there in person. So, and I'm going to be attending the historic board and the zoning meetings as well.
Okay,
Do I make a motion, we approve the contract for legal services with Joe Jenner for the year of 2025?
I'll second Carl's motion. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And the motion passed. Next item on the agenda is resolution number 2025-1B.
This is whereas the purpose of intent of this resolution is to return property that was donated to the city of Madison for the purposes of establishing a community park. Whereas on March 27th, 2017, J&R Real Estate Holdings donated a parcel of property on Walnut Street to be utilized as the Georgetown Memorial Park, and the deed is attached. And said property was donated to the city of Madison, and the deed contained a restriction that said property could only be utilized as a public park. Since that donation, the city of Madison no longer desires to utilize said location as a public park and has since moved plans for Georgetown Park to another location. Whereas due to the fact that the city of Madison no longer has use for this property as a public park and can no longer satisfy the restrictions pursuant to the deed and the original intent of the transfer of the property, the city of Madison desires to return the property to the previous owner. Whereas the city of Madison Board of Public Works authorizes the mayor of the city of Madison to execute any and all necessary documents to transfer said property back to J&R Real Estate Holdings. And now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Public Works and Safety of the City of Madison, Indiana, that the mayor of the City of Madison, Indiana is authorized to execute any and all documents necessary to transfer the property located at part of 912 Walnut Street, Madison, Indiana, back to J&R Real Estate Holdings.
Of course, I know that the placement and where the park is at now is part of the Legacy Park has been well received by the community, and I can't think of a better spot for that remembrance of the Reverend down there overlooking the river. I think it's just real special where it's at, and so we didn't satisfy the agreement and didn't use the property for that. So I think we're almost mandated to return the property. Of course, thank them for the donation back in 17. So with that, I approve resolution 2025-1B.
And
That's a motion.
Yes.
Is there a second?
I'll second Carl's motion.
Discussion?
Any discussion on the, seeing none, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Motion approved, so. Having no unfinished business, we have any public comments? Anybody from the public like to make a comment?
Hi, Lisa Ferguson, 718 East Second Street. Just a few things that I wanted to bring to your all's attention, not that they'll, sorry. Not that you need action on them or anything today. No? Okay, not that you need action or anything on today, just a few things. I have met the Aylers who are opening the new golf range simulator thing over on the next street, and I told them I would come and help them talk about getting a parking spot there just to drop off their clubs. I thought they were going to be here today, but I don't think they knew the meeting was changed, neither did I, till I walked in and Gina said, come back at 1:30 today. So I wanted to keep my word because I told them I would come and bring that up to you all. I guess when they checked in before, they were told that there's only one of those per block in town that's allowed, you know, the 10-minute drop box or whatever. And so they were like satisfied with that. I'm like, no, you don't understand. There's ones in front of businesses that haven't been open in 6 years that I've lived here. And so, Carl's a golfer, my husband's a golfer. If you have a full set of golf clubs, it's allowed by the PGA, it can be up to 42 pounds of weight. So our idea when we were walking and talking to them was if they could get a sign in front of their business, when somebody comes in with their golf clubs for 10 minutes, they could drop them off, leave them, and then go find a place to park instead of parking in the public lots, however far they would be, and packing 42 pounds down the street. And they said, well, we were told we couldn't do that. I'm like, well, you just have to go about it a different way. They said, I talked to Gina this morning about it because I came at 11:30 thinking y'all were here then. And she said they were told to go through the police department and ask for that change. And so that sounds like a good thing to me. That's a brand new business coming to town. The one that's in that block now is currently in front of Scarlet Begonia, which is a dress shop, not unlike any other dress shop in town. Really no reason to carry out 42 pounds of clothing, but a golf would be different. So just because I gave them my word that I would come and bring that up to you all, I wanted to follow up and do
I
that.
know we had the same kind of 10-minute at the donut shop and the coffee shop.
Yes.
So you wanted just something similar to that, real quick drop off and go.
Yes, just
Like
a
pick up
drop
a cup
off
of
so
coffee.
that, because they don't have a back entrance for anybody to get in
Right.
and park back there. It's just basically good luck on Main Street, which right now is full of snow, of course. But they're trying to do a soft opening next week. Not that we could get the sign up by then. They'll do a grand opening, he said probably sometime in March. But, you know, I just wanted to follow up and say that. And I know that, you know, I think you all, because you've lived here your whole lives, things have always just been there and stayed there and never been moved for any reason. And nobody comes back to tell you that business is no longer there. But I just thought that'd be a welcoming thing for a new business, you know, for us to try to help them out, so.
I guess they have to file an application for that, correct?
Yes, and they told Gina they were doing that. I'm just following up because I gave my word and I might not be here next time, so I didn't know what them to say. Well, you
So-
said you'd do that,
So
so.
they may be here at the next meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, Gina said that she told him to go to the police station and ask for it, so I'm just trying to be their cheerleader ahead of time. But the other thing, you know, and I know this is a traditional thing, I know this is a Madison type thing. It's not something that I agree with. It's something I think we could look into changing. And I know you're going to know who I'm referring to, but when a person goes, needs a handicap parking placement, you have to go to your physician and get that. So our family did that a couple years ago. We have obtained the handicap parking from my uncle on 3rd Street. However, they're going to move, so we're going to need to have that moved, and that's no problem, I understand. But the way I'm interpreting the code to read in Madison now is that's a parking spot for handicapped people. It's not a handicap spot for the person who applied needing a handicap spot. So when I have to drive my uncle to Clarksville to get therapy and come back, and somebody's at the Airbnb for 7 days who's handicapped and has a handicap
Right.
tag, they can park in his spot. That doesn't make it any easier when I come home, and the reason it's there is because he's handicapped and he lives there. So I've seen in other towns we visited, they have codes where it's for the resident only. That's there because he has been told by Dr. Israel he is permanently handicapped. So I think there's a way we could look into something like that. I don't know how that works legally or anything.
Isn't there a code, Joe, that's 10-minute parking, or handicap parking is for all people that But not a particular person.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, we don't have anything that designates a parking spot for a resident.
Right.
I think that, whether it's handicapped or whatever, so I mean, I think that would certainly be a change to an ordinance, if that's something that we wanted to explore. So,
That's just something I would like us to look at. I know Bob's been doing a good job of going back to ordinances from 1880 to 1960 that have never been done, because we have a town now of tourism, and probably we didn't 20 years ago. We have, I don't know, 135 Airbnbs in town. You know, those people don't know that when they come and they're handicapped, they can't just park there for 7 days, and that doesn't help me. I'm trying to get a wheelchair out and get into a place, you know, so it's just something that I'd like us to start saying, you know, if he has to prove he's handicapped by a physician, why is he not still handicapped if he comes home and then we can't get him into that spot? So, and that's just that. I've been talking with Gina on another issue, and I'm working with Faith over at the Veterans Council, also attending the Veterans Council meetings, because traditionally, again, in an ordinance, we must have where we have to have so many inches of ADA compliance for sidewalks. So I'm driving an older veteran who lives over on East Street, and she right now has the old stone step. So her walker now is wider than that stone step. So when we go to pick her up, I just go, "Come on, Jane, jump into my arms and trust me," and lift her out and then put her on the sidewalk because she can't do it with that. So they came from the Veterans Council, I was out of town, to ask if we could put a ramp in so we could ramp her down there with hers, and they said no because it won't allow the 36-inch clearance that we need for ADA. While I understand that, I also know there's a person with no other family to look out for her in a bad situation, and yes, there's not 36 inches, but I probably have about 55 pictures in my phone where I walked for 7 miles one day and took pictures all over town where there's not 36 inches, because those people are grandfathered in, I would assume. You know, they have that stone step the same way. So I went through the man who she rents from, Mr. Schonstein, over on Walnut. He gave us permission to put in a temporary handicap ramp, like a metal ramp. But then I guess when they came, they were told they can't do that because it doesn't have access, which I understand. And I talked with Gina, and she does have another door that's on the side, but it puts her, you know, from here halfway to Shipley's to try to get out to the veteran's van when I'm driving her. So all those little things just add up to being an inconvenience, I know, and I know it's a grandfathered in thing probably, because there's a lot of steps around town that there's not 36 inches. I mean, I've measured them, so I've got them in my phone. But I'd like to be able to, you know, try to help Jane and see if we can do something to make life a little bit easier for her. So that's it. You know, we're going to talk about Jane Cutler on East. So just a few things that I'm like, these are my 2025 agendas. So sorry, guys.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa. Anyone else have public comments?
You skip the mayor's comments, you're not
I'm not the mayor.
gonna talk. Just wanted to let you know. Okay, so
Board members' comments. Carl,
no,
my only comments, I'd just like to thank the street department for the work that they've done this week. I think they've done a fantastic job clearing the streets. This is something that we don't see very often anymore. And, you know, it's just, they acted when the need was here, and I think they've just done a tremendous job keeping the streets open, keeping them plowed. And, you know, in a situation like this, you've just got to have patience. You know, when you go through and plow a street and it's still snowing, you know it's going to get covered up again. So it's going to get snowed on. So you just have to have patience and give the snow plows room to navigate and to operate. And like I said, I think they've done a tremendous job this week. So,
and the folks dealing with trash pickup, it's gotta be a new experience for them with the new cans and then the big piles of
Yeah.
snow that they've had to deal with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, kind of, thanks to those folks too.
Absolutely. And with the weather prediction for tomorrow and Saturday, it looks like we may have a few more inches of snow coming, so just ask for everybody's patience and understanding, and we'll get through it. So,
Mr. Carlo, I would add to your comments about the snow plowing. As of, I believe, Tuesday morning, they had plowed over 2,000 miles
Wow.
of roadway. We only have 70 miles in the city, so that's multiple trips, multiple lanes, all that. So
Yes.
they've been busy.
It's rough snow. I mean, all that snow, then ice, there's more snow on top of that.
Yeah.
Is there anything my wife could do, get the driveway cleaned off? Farming, I appreciate it.
it's,
Anyway.
yeah. Anybody else have anything to say? Seeing none, entertain a motion for adjournment.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thanks, everyone.